Hey, I didn't do one of these videos last week, so this one's going to cover the last couple weeks, and they've been good weeks. They've been exciting. Lots of cool stuff happening. I got that pitch video ready last week and put the game up on Steam for people that have a key. They can play the beta version currently. The game's actually going to launch in Steam Early Access on January 1st. So everything we're doing now with the beta and the current sort of demo build of the game is to prepare for that release and make it as good as possible. Um, so this last week, I got the that same build of the game that was up on Steam, and I put that on itch.io, GameJolt, and IndieDB. And so it's available in multiple places to download for people that are members of those particular communities. The version that I have up there is probably not going to be updated as frequently as what's on Steam. So if you want the current version of the beta, the best way to do that is to join our Discord, which I'll link in the description, and I'll give you a key for the beta. And I'm going to be continuously updating that one. Like it's been a couple times a day. I'll put a little patch in. Um, but the version on itch and GameJolt and IndieDB probably I might update it now and then, but for the most part, I'm just going to leave it alone and kind of use it as bait to get you guys to join our Discord. Um, you know, hopefully it's okay, but we're being fairly transparent about that plan. But you know, the more directly you're communicating with us, the more your contribution is going to help the game out. So we want people to be on the Discord server and hopefully engaging us there. Um, so putting it up on itch and GameJolt did it blipped on the radar of Coalfire and Cryptic Hybrid. There are a couple of Let's Players that put videos together showing their experience playing the game, and that was really cool to see. Both because we were getting a little coverage, which is fun, and also just another playtest of the game, watching them play it. And it was it's an early version of the game, so I think both of them got stuck here and there playing it, but uh, I've already sort of improved it based on what they experienced, and they both reported really liking the game and having a positive experience with it, which is cool to see. Um, and that's actually been the feedback we're getting from pretty much everyone that's playing it, is that it's a cool game. They get why it's fun. They get the idea, and that's been really encouraging. So I'm happy about that. There have been a few technical issues. Certain people's computers seem to run it a little choppy, and it is a game that really depends on having a pretty good frame rate to have the target experience. So we're not really sure why that is. It's not that graphically intense a game, and it's also not. I mean, the code should be written in a pretty efficient way. I'm doing everything I can to adhere to best practices as far as Unity scripting and stuff like that is concerned. So I don't really know why it's performing poorly on certain computers, but the more data we have there, the easier it's going to be for us to draw some sort of conclusion from that. So if you do experience performance problems of any kind, just send me your system specs, and maybe I'll be able to figure something out there in time. But it might be a little while. I don't really have any leads there yet. I put made it possible to scale down the graphics of the game. In a couple of cases that has helped, but not always. So I don't really know what's going on yet. But looking into it. We also got featured on Alpha Beta Gamer, which is really cool to see. And that feature yielded a bunch of people joining our Discord. So all these people have signed up, and I've given them all keys, and hopefully having a larger tester base there will help us, smooth things over, like the performance issues I was talking about. Maybe I'll be able to figure something out from that. If nothing else, we'll be getting a lot more feedback on the gameplay and what's working and what's not, and that's going to be really cool to start harvesting. We also, like I said, I want to turn this Discord into sort of a community hub. So we're talking about putting together community events of some sort. This is currently locked, so no one can see this yet, but it's the hope is to have like feature votes and things like that. So we might put up like feature A. Here's feature A. Here's feature B. Neither of them are in the game yet. Which one should we focus on for the next month or something? And obviously we'll be doing other stuff throughout that month too. But this way the community could sort of direct certain features and have some involvement in the development process. I think that'd be kind of fun. And we might do other things like competitions for like high scores and that kind of thing. Hopefully, make this more than just a beta test, but start to actually grow a little community for this game. That's the hope, the dream. Let's see what else. See, I'm just now kind of learning how to email the press. The only response we got back last week was from Alpha Beta Gamer, and it sounds like just the sheer volume of indie games coming out right now. I mean, a lot of emails don't ever even get read. So I'm just going to kind of keep trying there. I don't want to spam people, but I do want to break through the their hard exterior and get to the juicy meat within or something. I don't know. I'm not actually going to eat any members of the press, but I do want to break in. And let's see, I made some little changes to the game's controls based on feedback. People felt like the jump behavior was a little inconsistent. I'll show what I changed there in a little bit here. Also, people were having a hard time reading the dialogue text because it was so fast. We do have voiceover coming soon. I think hopefully later today I'll get the first test voiceover samples from my main voice actor and start working on that. But for now, all I did was I made it so that the duration of the text on screen depends on the number of characters in that string of text. So short chunks of dialogue should display for just a little while, and longer chunks should stay on screen longer. Give you time to read them. I also polished some of the levels a little bit based on watching the Let's Players. Sort of tried to direct their attention a little better, or direct the player's attention better to the forward, through path. And I also added scoreboards to the game. So I'll show you those changes right now. Already in Steam. Okay. All right, so, oops, turn this down a little bit. So basically, I guess this first level will show the dialogue, how that works. There's kind of a minimum amount of time that the dialogue will display on screen. I think it's 3 seconds or something. And then for really short dialogue, but this is a longer chunk of dialogue, so it'll display for a while longer, corresponding to the number of characters in that string. And then short dialogue, significantly shorter display time. All right. And then for the controls, the issue that people were having, one of the issues, there were a few things going on, but I'll only talk about one of them here, was that, so the old jump system, the distance, the force of your jump corresponded to the length of the distance between your character and the cursor. So like if I was right here and I jumped, it would be a short little jump. And if I was up here and I jumped, it would be a long jump. But people weren't picking up on that, and really it was sort of a hard idea to communicate briefly in a tutorial. Like this kind of tutorial didn't lend itself to communicating that idea. So instead, now left click just does these short little hops, or you can hold left click down to move around like this, but little hops with left click. And then if you're right clicking, you do long jumps. It's a slightly less long jump than before, but that distance is the same regardless if my cursor is way up here or right down here next to the character. Uh, but now I also added a double jump, or it's kind of a flutter ability. So if you're in the air, you can click again repeatedly to kind of add little adjustments to your path. And the first click when you're in the air is more has more oomph behind it, and then they kind of taper off in terms of their force. So it I don't know. I really like the way it feels, and so far it's been well received. And I think it gives you a good amount of control while you're in the air, and hopefully is an improvement. And then the scoreboards. Okay, so um, there's a lot of these. There are these little purple flowers that you find in the game, and people are wondering like what the hell they do. Um, the answer is not really anything yet. We do have plans there, but I at least wanted to link those to this scoreboard system, which we'll expand further as the game continues development. But for now, what happens is each time you find a flower to sprout like this, it gives you 100 points in this score system. And as you make it through the game, you'll accumulate points, and then at the end of the level, it tells you how you've done. It's not just points; it also, or not just you're not just gaining points. It also subtracts points. If I die, each death costs you 200 points, and then also the amount of time that you spend in the level is subtracted from your total score. I have a minimum score of 100 right now because I thought that seeing score 0 at the end of a level was kind of demoralizing, and I don't want players that aren't playing for points primarily, players that are just kind of poking around and exploring and playing the narrative of the game. I want them to still have fun and not feel punished by this scoreboard system. So hopefully, buying them off with a 100-point minimum will it's like a participation award or something. But eventually, there will be systems in the game for applying those points, and to unlock things. Okay, so yeah, I only rescued or only sprouted 19 out of 27 seeds, and I died once. So and I had a time of 234 seconds. So my total score is 1,466. And I might make the math and stuff there a little more transparent at some point, or I might not. We'll see. I don't know if people care. But scoreboard is now in the game, and eventually we'll save that information. So when you're like on the level selection screen here, you'll see your high score. At least just the one score value. I don't think we'll display all that information, but that's fun. And let's see. Next week, I got my notes here. Next week, I'm going to talk about what we're hoping to implement into the January 1st release, the early access release, to differentiate from the current beta version. And a lot of that's going to be stuff like the voiceover that I talked about. We have an idea for something called the Outliers Grotto, which I won't talk about yet, but that's going to be cool and hopefully tied into this point system a little bit. Also, secret creatures. We have a lot of creatures that we've concepted but haven't actually put in the game yet. So that system will also tie into the Outliers Grotto, but we have cool ideas there. So I'll talk a little bit more about that next week. I hope if you're interested in playing this, again, follow the link in the description to our Discord channel and just ask for a beta key in the Discord server. And then there's a beta key, beta sign up channel in our Discord server. So you can ask for a key there, and I'll give you one. And I'm probably just going to keep handing out keys as long as I can, as long as people are interested in them, up until that January 1st release, and then I'll be focused on the paid version of the game. So yeah, I hope you check it out, and thanks for watching.